Beyonce couldn't get pregnant, not naturally. What I do know is this. Beyonce got on that stage with that fake baby bump. It was lined up with the same timing of where Cathy White would have been in her second trimester.
Most rumors burn out. This one refuses. Every couple of years, the internet dusts off the same set of moments. Beyonce's belly rub at the VMAs, a flurry of hospital stories, that viral interview clip, and decides, wait, doesn't all of this line up a little too well? Real talk, some pieces are timestamped and public, others are pure stitching. Forum lore, resurfaced posts, and lyrics being treated like court testimony. So let's do the grown-up thing. Stack the receipts, walk through what keeps this story alive, and see whether we're actually connecting dots or drawing lines that were never there. First, the dates. You can put these on a calendar with a Sharpie. Beyoncé ended the 2011 MTV VMAs with that belly rub mic drop on August 28, 2011. Camera flashes everywhere, crowd cheering, hands to the stomach. The whole moment scored like a movie. Blue Ivy's birth hit the press January 7th, 2012.
The timeline of when she delivered Blue Ivy lines up almost perfect with the timeline of when Cathy White would have delivered. We all know that Blue Ivy came from a surrogate. They shut that hospital down like a president had just been.
Within hours, you had outlets citing family tweets, follow-ups, and the usual mom and baby are doing fine language. That 5-month window is the spine of every timeline you see online. People take those dates, then start layering on chaos from a hospital night and a dress that didn't sit right on camera, and the theory machine goes into overdrive. Now, the hospital chapter. The part where emotions were running hot and the hallways were reportedly jammed. Some new parents at Lenox Hill told local reporters they felt blocked from seeing their newborns. One dad described getting stopped on the way to the NICU, and you can hear the frustration in those early clips. That's one side. The other side landed quickly. New York health officials said they reviewed and dismissed complaints of mistreatment during that weekend, and the hospital pushed back on the viral story that a full floor was essentially bought out for $1 million plus. The line from the institution was that the couple paid standard executive suite rates.
When Beyonce was pregnant with daughter Blue Ivy Carter, so many rumors began spreading that she faked her pregnancy with a fake belly and had enlisted a surrogate to carry the child. A particular video, however, went insanely viral, like literally overnight.
Not a takeover fee. When there's a gap between personal anecdotes and official statements, rumor floods the space. And on the internet, rumor always finds a microphone. Then there's the clip. You know the one. Australian TV set, the camera angle is low, the fabric is loose, she starts to sit, and the dress collapses in a way that looks off. That 30-second moment has probably done more to fuel the theory economy than any tabloid cover, because people feel like they saw it with their own eyes. Her team waved it off as silly. The prosthetic chatter was called ridiculous and moved on. But the GIF lives forever. That's the thing about optical glitches. Once your brain decides what it saw, every replay becomes confirmation. But here's where it takes a left turn. More than a decade later, Beyoncé drops Cowboy Carter. Critics describe it as a sprawling Americana tapestry with outlaw edges. And buried in there is Daughter, a track that sounds like a revenge ballad with knives out.
And parents who had just had children themselves weren't even allowed to see their own kids for 24 hours because of the security that was locking that whole thing down.
$1.3 million is alleged that Beyonce and Jay-Z, the Carters, paid this hospital to have the right.
The imagery is sharp, violent, a little operatic. Exactly the stuff that makes a song feel like a confession, even when it's written as a character. Music writers mostly read it as storytelling, not memoir. It's the murder ballad lane, the character voice lane, not a diary entry. Still, you know how this goes. Vivid lines hit the timeline, fans isolate quotes, and suddenly you've got threads saying, "No way she wrote that unless it's real." That's art doing what art does, and the internet doing what the internet does. So what actually keeps this rumor alive? 3 sticky pieces, really. First, the VMA reveal. It's cinematic, it's public, it gives you a perfect starting gun. Second, the hospital weekend, where you've got stressed parents on one side and official denials on the other. A classic he said, they said that never fully resolves. Third, the viral interview clip, which is visual and confusing enough that it reinfects people who never cared about the story to begin with.
A video of Beyonce's high-definition interview with Australia's Sunday Night HD surfaced online. This interview would have been, on record as the most boring interview of all time had it not been for the one moment at the start of the sit-down.
When you stack those beside a new track that invites dark interpretation, the old theory looks new again.
And if that sounds like Hollywood folklore, wait till you hear this part. The internet's Cathy White storyline is where speculation tries to get forensic. Posts and blogs link her name to that 2011 to 2012 window and attempt to align everything into a single narrative, like a true crime corkboard. Mainstream outlets mostly cover the existence of those fan theories rather than verify their details. That's important because once you cross from reported date into forum allegation, the ground gets soft. Some online personalities repeat sensational claims, and the proof often loops back to the same handful of interviews, screenshots, and summaries about summaries. It's a lot of heat, very little paper you can actually audit. Most folks remember the headline beats, the VMA reveal, the hospital friction, the viral clip. What rarely gets mentioned with the same energy is how fast the official pushback landed. Within days, health officials were already telling the press the complaints of mistreatment were dismissed, and the hospital was downplaying the idea of a floor being shut down for a fee.
When Beyonce took a seat and her bump, did something entirely different and kind of unnatural. So to explain, when she sits down, you can see her stomach deflating and folding in on itself.
That doesn't negate what some parents say they felt in those hallways, but it does undercut the cleanest version of the "they locked down the building with cash" story. That nuance doesn't trend, but it matters if you care about receipts.
Let's talk about surrogacy, because people love to throw the textbook at this to make the math work. In gestational surrogacy, the carrier isn't genetically related to the child. The embryo can come from the intended parents. That's a real thing. It's also exactly the kind of technical explanation people use to backfill a conclusion they've already chosen. It may fit a hypothetical. It doesn't by itself prove what did or didn't happen in a specific case. And there's no public, on-record document trail that ties a verified surrogate arrangement to this story. The only official adjacent piece that exists from that weekend is the hospital/health department side saying the wildest claims didn't hold. And if that sounds like Hollywood folklore, wait till you hear this part.
If it's what you truly want, I can wear her skin over mine.
Again, the lyric microscope. Fans grabbed lines from Daughter, translated passages, and did the thing where art becomes affidavit. Critics, meanwhile, called out the song's theatrical bite, its Western noir mood, and how it echoes a tradition of vengeance narratives in American music. It's literature with a beat. It's a character with a pulse. It's not a sworn statement. And when you stack that beside a public relationship that's always been myth-heavy, remember, Lemonade and 444 turned personal storm into art. People want to map every bar back to a headline. It makes sense. It's also a trap.
Another reason the rumor recycles? Privacy reads like secrecy on the internet.
High-profile couples guard pregnancy details to protect their safety, their kid, and their sanity. That silence becomes a void, and voids get filled, especially if there's a viral clip available to loop under the theory. Add one stressful night at a hospital where not everyone had the same experience, and you've got just enough smoke for the internet to swear there's a fire. Let's slow it down and take one last look at the structure.
Now, was Beyonce wearing, different sized bellies to throw off the press as to how far along she was? Had she and Jay-Z, gone the surrogate route and her, deflating baby bump proved it? Or was it something else entirely that can or can't be so easily explained?
On one side, you have time-stamped events that anyone can verify. the VMA reveal on August 28, 2011, the public announcement of Blue Ivy's birth the weekend of January 7th to 8th, 2012, health officials saying complaints were dismissed, the hospital pushing back on the floor buyout narrative. On the other side, you have interpretations, the way a dress moves on a low camera angle, a song written in a character voice, online personalities tying names and dates together without a paper trail that would stand up outside of forums. You can choose what to believe, just be honest about which side of the line you're standing on. Receipts or vibes?
Before we wrap, there's one last detail that flips the whole thing. The way this story satisfies a deeper hunger. It's not just gossip, it's control. People want the biggest stars on earth to make sense, to live in a fixed narrative where causality is clean and motives are exposed. Fame breaks that. Art muddies it more. So when a rumor promises the feeling of having solved a puzzle the mainstream missed, it sticks, no matter how many times you show the official statements or the lack of on-record evidence.
And new details this morning about the little bundle of joy born to Beyonce and Jay-Z over the weekend. Their baby girl, Blue Ivy, was one of the hottest topics on Twitter within hours of her birth. And one of the newest members of our ABC family, she just gave her Paula Ferris.
The rumor isn't just about a baby, a lyric, or a night at a hospital. It's about our need to decode the unknowable, and that's why it never dies.
So here's the bottom line. Per public record, Beyonce revealed her pregnancy at the VMAs on August 28, 2011. Blue Ivy's birth was announced around January 7, 2012. Some parents complained about access that weekend, health officials said those complaints were dismissed, and the hospital denied $1 million floor buyout. The rest? Surrogacy claims, who did what to whom, whether a song is a confession, lives in speculation, not documentation. If you see a pattern, say what you see. Just know whether you're pointing at a receipt or a feeling. If you're still here, you've got a point of view. Keep it. But do this simple test. Line it up against what's timestamped and ask yourself if the rest is inference. Make of that what you will. And if you've got a detail we missed, drop it below. I actually read the comments. Always.